Guys, it's Lilyharvord again. So I'm making another book review for my channel. Yeah, woo, woo. I have 1 subscriber. I'm so excited. And 100-something views. I don't think views matter. But, so, today I'm going to be reviewing the book Starters by Lissa Price, which is pretty much a mashup of Hunger Games and, like, Avatar. Not the weird airbender thing, the one about the blue monkey people. But, we are very fortunate to have a different camera person this time. My brother is videoing. My friend Elizabeth is too busy. And this is my bookcase, not my friend's bookcase. It's mine, so it's all so exciting. So yeah, just a lot of different stuff today. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to be reviewing Starters. So, pretty much there's this thing called the Spore Wars, and there was this infectious disease that was sent out into the world, into Earth, and it killed everybody between 20 and 60. So, pretty much there's just a bunch of teenagers and a bunch of old people left. And we're talking really old people. So, pretty much if you didn't have a parent around, or you didn't have a grandparent, you were pretty much taken in by the police, and you were killed, or you were sentenced to labor in these, like, mines. And so our main character is this girl named, I think it was Cassie. It was either Cassie or Callie. Her name's Callie. And she pretty much, her parents both died in the war. Her dad was this guy. I think her dad was like a scientist, and he kind of knew what was going on, so he got the vaccine for the disease for his daughter and his son. So Callie is on the run with her brother, and she has this buddy, her friend. What's his name? I think his name was Mitchell. His name was Mitchell, I think. And so they're on the run, and they're hiding places, and there's just like a bunch of teenagers and stuff that want to rebel against the adults, the elderly people. Now, Callie is starving. These people, they don't have food. The teenagers, they can't get jobs. They don't have food. They don't have anything. Really, they have absolutely nothing except the skin on the clothes on their back, kind of thing. And her brother's kind of sick. He's got this weird sickness, like asthma or something, I think. And the only way, she can't afford medication for him anymore. She can't afford to help him anymore. So she teams up with these people called Prime Destinations. Now, Prime Destinations is a group of people that set up this, like, avatar-like thing, like the Blue Monkey people. And they do is an ender, or an elderly person, can rent a teenager's body and live, like, for a short period of time, they can live as a young person again. Now, Callie, she needs the money from Prime Destinations to buy a house and to be able to feed her brother and give him medication to help him. Well, so she secretly signs up for this Prime Destinations thing, and a lot of bad stuff happens. Like, some people, like, enders can rent your body for months on end, and that's, like, it. But, so, she secretly signs up, she gets all perfected and all that, like the Hunger Games, and then she goes on this table, and they put this chip in her head, and this chip is like this neuro chip that allows them to transfer the old person into her body so they can live. So, she passes out, and she has this, like, dream that's all happy, and her brother's safe, and everything's good. And then she wakes up, and she asks what happened. They're like, that was your first thing, you've been gone for a couple weeks, that was it. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, she's going, and you know by now something bad's gonna happen. It's all gonna be sunshine and good things. And so she goes back after seeing her brother, and she begs them to let them see her brother and her friends. So she goes, sees them, and they don't recognize her at first. She looks like some pampered teenager. And they finally recognize her. She tells them what she's doing. She tells them she's working and that she's bringing money. And they were like, okay, whatever. So she goes back, and she gets set up for her next rent. She gets in, and she wakes up in her body. The renter is no longer in her body. It was a little confusing at first. You were sort of confused, but she woke up as her renter. Not as the elderly person, but everyone believes her to be her renter. Everyone thinks her renter is in her body, and it's slightly complicated. But so her renter is this, like, elderly, like, senator person, and she's living the life of luxury, pretty much. She's living this awesome life. And she starts going out with the senator's grandson and all that, and everything's good. And she realizes there's this voice in the back of her head that says she cannot go to prime destinations, do not go back. So she's like, alright. So she doesn't go back, and this plan starts to unfold, and she has these weird blackout moments, and where things happen. We don't know what happens, we just know it's a blackout moment. And slowly this plan unfolds, and we find out that her renter was trying to kill this senator who was going to do this thing with prime destinations, because prime destinations is apparently not legal. It's totally illegal. And so he was going to go to the president, sign this bill, and it was going to be made legal finally. So her renter is trying to assassinate this senator so that he can, so nothing happens. And we also find out that this person's renter, she had a daughter that ran away and became a renter because she didn't like the life she was living, even though it was perfect. And so she lost, this person lost her daughter, and her daughter's been missing, and so has a few other people. Now we find out now that Prime Destinations is doing permanent rentals, where a renter goes in the body and buys the body. It becomes their body now, and they can live as a teenager and keep living their life again and again, and they can sub out and go into a different body over and over and over. And Callie believes that the teenagers that have gone missing are the ones that are, have become permanent renters. So, pretty much what ends up happening is she goes and she stops from killing this senator, this guy, and we find out that this man called the, oh god, what was his name? He was the old man. He's the old man. He's the guy that owns Prime Destinations. And his whole plot was the permanent rentals that would bring him money. And he has this weird mask that changes what he looks like, so we never really know what he looks like. And in the end, Callie plans this thing to kill the old man because he kidnapped her brother. And so, because they found out about the chip in the back of her head that was malfunctioning, and the renter, they killed her renter, so she is completely in control of her body now. And so they challenge the old man, and he escapes. And at first we think he took her brother with him. Then we find out her brother was hiding, and her brother's okay, everything's okay. And all the teenagers that were renters are released. We don't know anything about the permanent renters. We don't know what happens to them. But Callie receives a home, and she's safe. But the old man talks in the back of her head. And we also find out that the senator's grandson, the guy she was going out with, was, at the whole time she was dating him, he was the old man in disguise. So that was like this big turn, and everyone was like, and so then we find out that his grandson was actually kidnapped. The grandson, the guy she likes, was locked away. He knows nothing about her. Absolutely nothing. And so it's this depressing moment for her, and then he eventually meets her when they're destroying Prime Destinations, and he's like, hey, you know, I feel this connection with you, we should become friends. And she's like, alright, so they become friends. And then she goes to her house with her brother in the, like, mountains, and they're relaxing and everything, and then the old man is talking in her head, telling her all these things, and she panics, and she realizes the old man was in the house, but he's gone now. He disappeared somehow. And which sets up for the next book, which is called Enders, which comes out in the summertime. It should be out by now. I'll have to look it up. So that's pretty much the whole book. And on the scale of 1 to 10, I rate this book definitely a 9.5. That's a really high rating for me. It's an insanely good book. I loved it personally. I couldn't put it down. It took me like a couple of hours to finish it. That's how, like, good it was. there were a few slow parts, and the romance was kind of sappy, and so if you're into the whole Twilight lover thing, go for it. There is a small love triangle, so enjoy that. But this book is definitely a 9.5. The dialogue's good, the plot's good, the idea behind it is so complex and just mind-boggling. You just can't stop reading. So that's pretty much Starters by Lissa Price. If you want to check it out, go on Amazon or anything. If you haven't subscribed, there's a button up there that says subscribe. If you click it, I love you. And yeah, if you view this, you're awesome. If you click it, I love you. I haven't decided what book I'm reviewing next. I might do some book behind me on my shelf. So just stay tuned for the next, I guess, book review, movie review, or you guys can check out my Twilight reading segment. Okay, so subscribe, view. I love you all. Thank you so much. Goodbye.